Welcome, everybody, to Coach's Corner on this Saturday. We record everything. I'm your host, Paul Tripoli. Coach Tripp to my players. I spent 20 years coaching, played for 20 years, coached 20. Now I just hope to talk about it, Shell. Michelle Snow, as you can see, is our guest on the show. Shell, it's great to see you. My gosh, WNBA star, two-time WNBA All-Star. And Tennessee product, as you can see, this is one of my favorite photos here in the background, you and Coach Summit. My gosh. Shell, let's start from the beginning. Talk about growing up here in Pensacola, your mom, dad, and siblings.
Wow. My journey in Pensacola is very different and unique. Both of my parents are military, so you can imagine growing up in that household. Beds were made, sheets were turned correctly, tucked under military style. And they were going to always come and check and make sure it was done right. Very big on following through. So imagine that. And I'm the oldest of 5. So it was also my job to kind of be the third parent in the house and make sure everything was right. And when it wasn't, it was on me. But I learned a lot of great things that you don't think about it, like the little things of just making your bed every day. Some people get up and they don't do it. And it's just being able to follow a routine every single day and make sure not only that you're doing it, but that you're doing it correctly and that you're not taking any shortcuts. And now I can see where that pays off, because most people would throw the covers over the bed, roll out. You're not going to take the sheets. You're not going to take the time to make sure it's done right. And it's understanding how those little things turn into you being a professional athlete and you not taking plays off. You're not taking breaks. And it connects, and it's wild. It took me a long time to realize it. But you see that lady in that picture in your background there. You weren't going to cut corners. You were going to do it the right way. And she always told us this is why we're there in the end, because everyone else is taking breathers. They're taking breaks. They're taking shortcuts. I will not allow you to do that. And it started with just being at home with my parents and how they set that at a very, very young age for me.
It's interesting you say that. On my Wednesday night show, 4-wheel drive with Bill Pendock, Blaze Winter. Bill Pendock came from military background, and he made his bed every single day. Ended up being an NFL player. Wow. Shell, I know you're in the process of moving. It can be challenging. So am I. It can be challenging and rewarding as well. Talk about adapting. You're a new school, new people, new team, new leadership, new company, new employees, new customers. Talk about the importance of adapting or dying.
If you can't adapt, it's going to be really difficult for you in life overall, because you're going to always want things to be similar or familiar. And when you're outside of your element, you're going to be uncomfortable. So you're not going to take chances. You're not going to be open and willing to have conversation or dialogue with people you're not familiar with. It really, it slows you down, like your growth. The point of life is to enjoy everything. That's why it's spicy. That's why it's diversity. And I've been to 22 plus countries. And if I didn't adapt, how am I I live over there 8 months out of the year. I play in the WNBA 4 months out of the year. If my parents didn't prepare me, hey, when you're 18, you're going to leave. You're going to go to different places. You're going to get outside of Pensacola. You want to see different things because people are different everywhere. And you need to see that. Now that leads to going into corporate America, and you're leading teams that look very different, and it's very diverse. And everyone has a different point of view, which means all of your blind spots are covered. All of your weaknesses, that's somebody else's strength. But if you don't know how to talk to people, and if you're afraid to talk to people who don't look and think like you do, if you don't understand, like, we don't have to agree, but we do have to work together. And I do need to know that when I need you, you're going to have my back, and you have to know that I'm going to have yours, and that there's accountability and adaptability. All of these things play in together. And it's funny because I've been in corporate now 5 years, and it took me 2 years to even understand that I belonged. I thought I didn't. And then I realized all the things that you learn in team sports, that's all managing is. Yes. Learning how to have a courageous conversation, learning how to adapt to people who think differently, move differently. Hey, do you like text? Do you like emails? Do you like phone calls? What is your preference? What do you need? Same with the team. There are some people that you got to visually walk them through the play because they're visual. There's some who I need the playbook. I want to study I want to study it that way. And you start to begin to understand different people's needs and how to meet those needs, but also how to pull their needs out of them when they're unaware. And now you can adapt to each and every person around you.
That's a great point. He made some really good points. Number one, tough conversations. You got to have tough conversations when you're a business leader or when you're in a personal relationship. Some people just don't want to have them. Some people are visual learners and audio learners. That's why I'm so glad you mentioned that, because as a coach, you have to have a certain, or a teacher. Teacher and coaches are very similar. You have to have a certain protocol: explanation, demonstration, participation, correction, and repetition. But if you can't demonstrate it, then what kind of coach are you? So, because people are visual. Oh, I'm so glad you said that. All right, let's jump over to your high school coach, a good friend of mine, really, really a special lady. I think you call her for advice to this day. Allison Davis, still there, still grinding. Talk about Coach Davis.
Man, she's like a second mom. I called her mom when my mom was living, and would pick me up from practices because of my mom, who was ill, who had lupus, couldn't do or couldn't come. Coach Davis was right there. She's always been right there. And this is before I was a professional athlete, before, any of the Tennessee and any of these things. Like, she just genuinely was that type of person. To this day, I still call her mom. I went by and picked her up the other day, took her to dinner. I'm going to make sure she's good. I call her all the time.
Tell her to call me. Tell her to call me sometime, for crying out loud.
We're going to send her this clip and be like, call Paul. But no, she's an amazing person. I don't think people realize how many kids she's helped, and has never said anything about it, has never asked for help, like out of her own pocket, for I don't know how many years. It absolutely amazes me, because some people are like, oh, well, you're Michelle. Of course you did. And I go, well, that's hindsight. I wasn't Michelle back then. I was just a scrawny, skinny kid that she was like, you need to play for somebody. She was so rude when she first met me. I need to tell you that story. So rude. I tell her all the time. I'd be like, I want to play for you. I heard you're a good coach. You went to Alabama. You were an All-American. And she was like, you should play for somebody. I was like, and then I was like, well, I want to win state. She was like, we didn't even win district. Do you know our record? We were 3-19 last year. I was like, I didn't ask your record. I simply said, we're going to win state. That's how naive and how big I used to dream as a kid. Mind you, I'm 6'5", standing there like, I want to come to PHS. I'm being a health academy. So I got my grades. I'm going to play basketball because I want academic and athletic. I mapped everything out. I had mapped my life out early. And she's just sitting there looking at me like, you should play for somebody. And we were 3-19 last year, baby. Set those goals realistically. Crazy part is,
did she play at Alabama?
Yes. She played at Alabama. Was All-American.
Where did Coach? OMG.
Yeah. And she used to tell me the stories. Yeah. She used to tell me all the stories. She used to sit there because it was different when she played, and I got that. But she would read books on how to coach a post player, because I was a bundle of energy and very open-minded with what I thought we were going to be able to do. And I would tell her, and I would annoy her to the point that I would go in her office every day for lunch and just sit there and be like, well, what should I be doing? How should I do this? Da-da-da-da. I was that kid that asked a million questions. I could annoy any adult back then. And so she would lock her door. And I would just sit there and knock. And then I would go to the window that was in the locker room and knock on the door and be like, I know you're in there. I bring her lunch. I was that kid. You're not going to tell me no. You're not going to tell me no. I bring her lunch. I have no pride. Man, I don't have pride. Look here. You have something I need and want. I'm going to go.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's learning, man. You got to learn. You got to never stop learning, and that's what Coach Davis did. Taught you. Oh, yeah. You already had that. You already had that thirst for learning. What was the recruiting process for Tennessee with Coach Summit?
Man, I didn't even know who Pat Summit was.
You didn't watch college basketball?
Man, my mom had lupus. We were poor. We were scraping by because she was ill. I had PBS and we played outside. We weren't inside watching TV. My mom made us read a book every week. You had to finish a book. and you would play outside. There was no sitting at the TV and just watching TV aimlessly. My mom was an educator. She graduated from Alabama State with 2 degrees with straight A's. Was an E7 in the military. She didn't play that. Get your butt out there and play, exercise, read a book. So when people were like the Cinderella season, they just won 3 straight. I was like, who? I had no idea who this lady was. I'm so glad I didn't know, because I wasn't intimidated. I wasn't afraid. Like I didn't have any of those things that most people had. I didn't realize who she was until we played Washington and people were lined up for 3 blocks to get into the gym. And our bus was pulling in. I was like, where are these people going? And Coach was like, to the game, it's Pat Summit. And I was like, who is this lady? And she's like sitting there next to my mom watching the game. And I was still just like, I did not know. I didn't know.
Yep. Wow. Holy cow. What's your welcome to college basketball moment? Was it coming from a coach, a player, a game, at practice? What was it? We all have them. We all welcome to college football or college basketball. What was your moment?
When Pat, there's a couple, but the first one was I was on my recruiting visit and I'm sitting in the stands. I come off very extrovert right now, right? I'm an introvert. I become an ambivert. I can go back and forth, but it drains me. So I didn't talk. I wouldn't look people in the eye, and I would have my headphones on because I was so shy and I had social anxiety, and my social skills were, as Pat put it, non-existent. She said, but we're going to fix that when you get here. And she was right. Like, my mom is sick. I'm going home setting up her dialysis machine. I didn't have a normal childhood. Like, I wasn't doing sleepovers. I wasn't going to the mall. I was making sure my mom was okay. And I was the oldest. And then I had to take care of the 4 younger siblings. So I had a different point of view, and I had to grow up a lot quicker than most kids. So she just told me, she was like, we're going to bring in someone to do etiquette. We're going to bring in someone to do that. And she brought in specialists to teach me all these things, took me overseas. So she would call out she'd be like, I'm going to break you down because, baby, you are ignorant. But she would call spade. Pat is going to be honest.
I love people who call a spade a spade.
I love that she was transparent. She was so transparent. And although you may not have believed it or understood it because I'm 18 years old and I don't know, she was like, you should change your major from business to psychology. And I was like, why? She was like, maybe you can figure yourself out because I can't. And I was like, so what I didn't know at the time, I learned this later. Your first day on campus, you take Myers-Briggs. That is the personality profile. It's like, it's 100 and something questions, and it figures out who you are, what buttons to push. That's the first thing she made me do in our ride on campus. She does it for every one of her players. You take this test, you come in, and she goes, her first question to you when you meet with her your first day, what do you want out of this experience outside of basketball? I want to be a businesswoman. I want to own business. She did not ask me about basketball. What did I want to win? What position? Nothing about sports. Who do you as a person want to be, and how can I help you get there? You just tested on your Myers-Briggs. You are 95% protector. Makes sense. I grew up taking care of my family while my mother was ill.
Right.
So when she's telling me this and she's reading, I'm like, this test figured out all that. This is why I'm telling you to change your major to psychology. You need to understand people, and you need to understand how to speak. And I got to bring you outside of your bubble. She said, you are going to hate me for the next 4 years. You cannot be a businesswoman if you won't look people in the eye. They won't trust you. And so I'm going to force you to talk. I'm going to force you to look people in the eye. You're going to tell me their eye color every time you walk away from a booster. And she would come and ask, what's their eye color and what do they do? And she's invested in you as a person. Every game I would introduce the starting lineup. I used to have sweat pockets. Oh, I was sweating. I was nervous. And then one day I just snatched the mic and was like, you're going to make me do it anyway. This took me a year. This took me a year now. This is like my 2nd year. You're going to make me do it anyway. And she said, you don't have to do it anymore. I said, why not? She was like, I was waiting on this moment for you to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations.
Oh my gosh, what a beautiful
She's a master psychologist.
She was a master psychologist. I say the same thing about Coach Bryant, my college coach. Master psychologist.
Yes.
And I think the great ones are. I had one of my college and pro coach, Ray Perkins, on my radio show before he passed away. He recommended every coach to get a psychology degree, a minor, every single one. That is just brilliant. All right, we're going to talk Pat Summitt stuff. Practices harder than games and gut checks.
Oh my goodness.
Talk about some of those.
I will tell people this. I can walk in a room. Even when I went to Nike, I was like, I don't understand anything you guys are saying. Sounds like Japanese because it's all technical terms. But I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to learn it because I will outwork any and every one of you in this room. I will leave work, go and study for another 3 hours. What did the acronym mean? What did this mean? I'm going to outwork you because I've been taught to train harder than you. I will put in the extra time because the person that puts in the most time, the person that's there early and the person that's there late, we will win. And I know I'm going to beat you because of that. Not because I'm better, not because I'm smarter, none of that. I simply outworked you because I wanted it more than you. You work a 9 to 5. I work a 8 to 6.
Yes, it's the same way in sports. I have these coaches. They will. Yeah, I have these teams and coaches and fans and players wonder why they can't win. It's not rocket science. You outwork the other team. You practice longer. I can't understand these coaches that say, oh, we get everything done in an hour and a half in practice. No, you don't. It's impossible to get everything done in an hour and a half practice. You have to outwork. Coach Bryant used to say there's no substitute for hard work. There's no faking it. And that's true. And everybody asks me, and I just tell them the simple facts, like you just said. You outwork other people. That's the only thing. Pat's critical. Coaches. Yes, coaches' demeanor in a critical situation in games. What kind of strategy or what kind of words would she say in a critical moment at the last maybe last shot or last stop of a game? Something that she would say in a timeout.
Most coaches will be all up in your face. We gotta win this. You gotta dig deeper. You gotta try harder. She gonna walk in the huddle and be like, "We've already prepared for this. Go do it."
Give that confidence. Yes, go do it. Yes, you know what you're doing. Then she gives you the confidence. You're gonna do it. Go do it. That's it. Because they just remember. You just remember like the first message and the last message in timeouts.
Yeah, wow. But we would practice 2-minute drills. If we're down by 8 points, how to catch up in 2 minutes. We did that every day. And if you didn't complete it and you didn't win it, you ran. And you ran and ran and ran. And you ran for every point you lost by. And so you got used to being in pressure situations because she created it in practice. Some people go through practices and they're taking, we're going to shoot 50 shots, 10 from each spot. No, we're going to shoot 10 shots with pressure with a defender, and they're going to push you. They're going to hold you. They're going to drag, and you still better make 5 out of 10. She made it game-like. Practice was game-like. Everything was harder than the game. When you got in the game, you knew the other team wasn't doing all of that. They weren't practicing that hard. And they didn't have, she would just put you in situations that you wouldn't even think about, to where you had every play had 3-4 options. Option 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we run a play, we don't need to drop a play in a timeout. We already knew the plays. Wow, whether it was outside line, full court, we had several plays already lined up. So we were good to go.
Yeah, situation analysis. She was brilliant at that. Bringing out the different situations so you were prepared to get in that game and be in that situation. It would come up in recall. Awesome. Did she use slights for motivation, and how did she handle her, and what did her assistant coaches think about her?
Mickey DeMoss was my friend, my goat, my bestie. She used to get me out of trouble all the time, so I had her back. She had mine. And Pat used to be like, you two are up to something. If she saw me huddled over talking to Mickey, she was going to come stand right behind me. And I would be talking to Mickey. I'd be like, I didn't go to class today. And then Mickey would just be looking at me like this and wouldn't say a word. And I'd be like, she's standing behind me, isn't she? I'm benched for the next game. But
good
no,
cop, bad cop.
she gave her assistants the same power. Like if they ran the offense, that's what they ran, and what they called, that's what the heck we were gonna do. Even if she didn't agree with it, she let them run it. And if we messed up, we adjusted later. But in front of the team, she empowered every single person. And she told the players, I can't do anything. Sometimes we don't have a timeout. You're coaches on the floor. Be a coach on the floor. You already know what to do.
Wow, that is good stuff. Did she ever mention a coach that she admired and quoted or anything? Because she studied them, right? She read books and studied all of them.
She studied everybody, but I think John Wooden was a great one that she used to study, because you want to study and emulate the person you're chasing. She's the second winningest coach at that time, so he's the first.
Right.
She studied players, like the best players. She would bring in different styles of play from different schools that were winning on the men or the women's side. D2, D3, it didn't matter. Whoever had a great system, she would bring it in. The Bulls were running triangle. We ran triangle. And she brought people in to teach us the triangle offense, all the different options that they were running out of this 3-person set, and how to keep the backside occupied. And if they cheat, you're going to pay. And we're going to throw a back door on the backside. She taught you all of these things so you could read the entire floor.
Wow. Holy cow. I see basketball. I love basketball. I picked it over hockey in high school. I played for quite a few years. Matter of fact, I played down here in Pensacola at First Baptist Church till I was 45, 50. How did she get players to be more than they I think you mentioned some of them. She would know the psychology of you before you did, and she would know your psyche sometimes better than you would, because Coach Bryant did that a lot at Alabama. Talk about how she did that.
It was the key. It's one of the first things I do when I meet people. So I want to have a conversation. I want to get to know you. You're going to tell me your story. And as you tell me your story, you're telling me how you like to be treated. And so that's why her first question was, how can I help you outside of basketball? If basketball doesn't work out and you don't go pro, what do you want out of life? So now she knows what your anchor is and what you want more than anything. Once she knows what you want, she's going to dangle that carrot. But she's dangling it by getting you closer. She knew I wanted to be a businesswoman because I wanted to be able to take care of my family, and I knew my mother was ill and I wanted to go pro. So she would dangle that carrot of businesswoman looks people in the eye. A businesswoman speaks up. And then now I have to make a choice. Do I want to do the things that are going to let me get to where I say I want to be or not? That allows her to push you. She could push me harder. She knew that being rude would you see how every time I go, she was so rude. But she knew that worked for me, because I would be like, oh yeah, watch me prove you wrong. She knew how I was going to react. So she was doing it intentionally, but she only did it to me because that's what worked for me. Some people, she gonna coddle them and hold them. And I'd be like, I can't get a hug. She'd be like, you want a hug too? Come here. But some people you coddle, some people you can push. And she told us, I can't treat all of you the same because all of you don't have the same personality. So what she did for me doesn't work for every other player. She knew that I had a strong person. As Mickey said, she said, you are a lot like Pat. She stares at you, you stare back at her. Like anything she did, I will mimic it. And she stare at me, I stare back. And Mickey would be like, you two bump heads because you are a lot like Pat. And she goes, but if you trust her, she's going to bring the best out of you, but you got to trust her. And she was like, she's going to pull some things out of you. And that's why she told you up front, you're not going to like her for 4 years, because she has to put you in such uncomfortable positions. But look at me now. I'm speaking like I'm an extrovert. I'm an orator being paid to speak on stages, and I'm not afraid. But she had to pull that out of me and challenge me. And either you were going to sink or swim. That's one thing she had to figure out.
Your first round pick. I'm sorry, you're breaking up a little bit, Shell. You're a first round pick of the Houston Comets. You played in 12 teams, 20 countries. What was the most difficult place to adjust to, and what was just a blast to live in that town?
I loved every country. It was a blast to play in each and every one of them. I have teammates I still speak to in every single country. I will say, as a young person, being in Spain and Italy with Fiesta, being able to go shopping and doing things that I'd never been able to do as a child, that was pretty dope. Korea was dope too, though. I had a lot of fun there, and I got to meet different people and to see how inspirational it was for them to see a woman who would speak up for herself. That was different for them, for their culture. Russia, like every place has a different reason for why it's special. Hardest place for me was coming from Florida. Everyone knows my last name is Snow, but Snow don't like snow. So, Russia, it was negative 30 degrees with snow up to my knees. That was the hardest adjustment for me. I had to learn how to get ski pants, how to get winter clothes. I didn't know how. And so that was the biggest adjustment, but it's also one of the places where they still come to visit me every year and bring me Russian vodka. But it's because it took a long time for them to open up to me too. I was the first American to stay for a full season. I didn't know that until 6 months in. I went off one day and I was like, y'all never speak to me. Y'all treat me like you don't speak, you don't do this. And they were like, because y'all never stay. And I was like, wait a minute, you speak English? Number one. And number two, I've been using a translator this whole time. You fools speak English. Number three, that's probably why they leaving. Y'all don't talk to them. And then I started teaching them like, this is where they want to stay. They have to have good phone service. Like these are things that are just unacceptable as an American coming from where we are. Like they're just different things that you don't know when you come into a different country. And we would just I was okay having those conversations because of Pat. And now I ended up opening it up. And the next year we had 3 Americans. The next year, 5 Americans. Then you had Brittany over there. You had Sue Bird, all these different, Diana Taurasi. All of us were now coming over because they understood what Americans needed. And they understood that it's an adjustment plan in Russia. It's very cold and we're not familiar with that regardless of where we're from. It's cold. It's different. It's a different type of cold.
Wow, you help bring all the Americans over there and show them that people are the same no matter where they are. Best memory at Tennessee. I know you played a couple national title games, but talk about maybe a game or a moment or something that sticks out for you.
I think since we're talking about Pat, let's keep it on her. We were at the Hawaii Invitational, which was on TV the other day, the Maui Invitational that they have over in Hawaii. And Pat actually told someone, and she said, go get her. And I knew she was talking about me. And she was telling me to go sub me out the game. And I was like, oh, crap. Pat had a rule. You're going to deny that high post. And if you don't, you're going to sit on this bench. Pick one. You can sit beside me or you can deny the high post. And I was sitting back there chilling. I was in Hawaii having a good time. I was taking a play off. She said, go get it. So I said, oh, crap. I might as well go for it. So I went for the steal and ended up dunking the ball in Hawaii. And came down, dunked the ball. Everyone's cheering. Everyone's going bananas. It's 2 seconds on the clock. The fans are coming out their seats. And it's halftime. So this is right before halftime. We walk into the locker room. Teammates are all over the locker room losing their minds, calling family, texting. Pat walks in and goes, good steal.
She didn't talk about the dunk. She talked about the steal that led to the dunk. Oh, my gosh. Was that the first? I know you were the second woman to dunk a basketball in a WNBA game. It was the All-Star game in 2006. Yes. But you did it at Tennessee. Were you – wow, talk about being one of the first ever dunk a basketball, Shell.
I mean, it was fun. It was something I've been doing since middle school. But it's kind of like I told you, I didn't know that these things had never been done. I just was like, well, men dunk. Why can't women dunk?
Yeah.
That was literally my rationale. Like no one ever told me, oh, you're a woman. You can't do that. So I didn't know. And so I would just play with a tennis ball, a T-shirt, a volleyball. And I would just keep trying and trying. I was dunking in high school. Then when I got to Tennessee, I was like, I want to dunk. She was like, if you want to dunk, you're kind of thin. We're going to try to bulk you up. You need to get in the weight room. Notice she was using that to get me into the weight room. She was smart. So I would get in the weight room and I would do plyometrics. And she was like, you need speed. And she would study to see how to help me. and then have the weight trainer help me, Jackie, who was one of the Olympic trainers as well. But she helped me to get fast twitch so I could jump quickly and fast. So they helped me. And then eventually she called a timeout and drew up a play. I didn't know what to do when she drew up that play against Vandy. She was like, "Are you going to dunk it?" I was like, "Oh, I did in Maui. I'm not going to give up a chance to dunk." She knew I wasn't scared. And she knew it. They were pressing us the whole time. And Pat said, "We're going to stop this press." And I didn't even know that she had a play in mind to help me dunk. And went off without a hitch. But that's Pat.
Wow, what a great story, Shell. That's unbelievable. Wednesday nights, my boys, I told you about, we talk about virtues, humility, perseverance, demeanor, how to be a great leader and captain. When you give talks, what is your subject and how do you get the audience involved when you want to talk about leadership or perseverance or any subject?
One of the things I learned was when you want to get someone's attention, the first thing you have to do is what Pat did with me. You have to find out what they want. So when they have the meet and greet, a lot of speakers only show up when it's their time to speak. I'm at the meet and greet and I'm talking to them. So I start my speech off. Hey, I remember Derek. I talked with him at the meet and greet. Derek has overcome this, and this to get to this, and this. So everyone is looking like, and Derek is shocked that I brought him up in the speech. And I'll mention different people that I spoke with. I now have everyone's attention because now I'm interacting with the crowd. I'm not just talking at them. I'm talking to them and I'm talking about people that they can relate to and stories that they can relate to. Anytime I speak, I get on the phone with the group that I'm speaking for, and I will ask them, "Hey, what's your mission? What's your intent? What is your goal for this particular event?" So I know what their agenda is and what they're trying to push. And if that matches with my core values, then I'll implement that into my speech. So every speech is custom. It may be some of the same stories, but it's implemented in a way where it also includes them. That's how you get people attention. Is you have to get Pat, like Pat said, if people don't buy in, they're not listening.
Right. So you got to get their attention. Yes, you have to get their attention, know what they want to know. And that's, I what I use? I use a joke, to break the ice when I speak. And I'll tell you too, you're welcome to use it if you want. But I'd go to a meeting, 400 or 500 people, and I'd get up to the podium and I said, thank everybody for having me speak. And before I start, I want to let everybody know that I'm not the greatest speaker in the world. Matter of fact, one time I was given a speech and thought I was really motivating and informing people. And all of a sudden, somebody way in the back stood up and screamed, "I can't hear you." Well, I was kind of taken aback. And before I could say anything, a guy right in front of me in the front row stood up, turned around and said, "You want to change seats?" So that's a good way. That's a good way to get the people laughing, and break the ice a little bit when you're speaking to somebody. But let's talk the present. All right. Nothing like being in the moment, right? Don't want to talk about the past all the time. Future is not even here yet. Let's talk about Nike and what you're doing for Nike. Tell everybody what you're doing, Shell.
Well, right now I'm a product line manager with Nike. Basically what that means is you manage the process from ideation. So when we're thinking about what the new shoe will look like, what's the new innovation, how modern it's going to be, whatever that may be, we come up with that idea and you have to manage that process all the way until it hits store shelves, which means coming up with the brief that says, okay, we want let me think of a shoe that's in the marketplace already. We want, the lightest LeBron, because if you look at the LeBron 20, it's the lightest shoe ever for a LeBron. So now we got the lightest basketball shoe. How do we create the lightest basketball shoe? We have the idea, but how do we actually bring that to life? And there are millions of dollars put into trying to figure that out. Then you got to create and make sure it looks good too, because basketball players like to look good while they play. Yep. You want to make sure the branding is there so that the company is getting that equity in the marketplace, that free advertisement as that player is making iconic moments, becoming the highest scorer or whatever he's doing. You want to make sure your brand is there and visible. And then now you got to sit there and talk with supply chains, factories. You're working with your developers, your color designers, your industrial designers. Your job is to manage that entire process and bring that shoe to life. And you got to get in front of VPs and present that idea. And either they're going to say, yep, we're going to do this, or they're going to say, no, drop it. And so you learn how to get buy-in across many different people, and all of them think differently. Like some people are introverts, you got to know how to get them too. Some people are extroverts and they want to do different things. But the process of it, I tell people I go to work every day and I'm making shoes. How hard is this? And when I first started, I was actually running LeBron James and Kevin Durant's retro signature basketball line. And that's fun because I'm sitting there presenting to LeBron, who is, everyone knows he's my favorite player. He is the king. He is the GOAT. I don't care. Don't argue with me. You won't win. He's the GOAT technically, but technically Bill Russell, because Bill got 11 rings. But in today's time is LeBron. And then meeting KD, and KD's telling me I was in the 8th grade when you dunked, and I jumped up screaming in the classroom. And it was like, oh, I was shocked. But yes, it's amazing to see.
Wow.
I'm working with them. It's the coolest thing ever. I go,
how cool.
This is fun. This is fun.
Yeah, you never know. You never know the impact you have on other people until you hear stuff like that, right? Oh my gosh. All right. Couple more questions left. Advice for young players or coaches. I think you reached a lot of it. Work hard is by far the best advice anybody can give. But maybe you have somebody out there listening that wants to be another Michelle Snow.
I would tell them find someone that is already where you want to be and ask them to mentor you. If they won't and they lock the door like Coach Davis, bang on the door. Go to the window, bang on the window. They close the blinds, stand outside and talk through the window. The reason I say if you're not willing to do all those things, because some people, I can promise you, as soon as I said that, there's a kid that said, I'm not doing all that. It's because you don't want it bad enough. You don't want to go pro bad enough, because when you want to go pro, you're going to do what it takes. And you're not afraid. You don't have pride. I would say put your pride aside. Listen to people who are already where you want to be. They're going to give you secrets. They're going to tell you how to shortcut things, not on the court, but shortcut things to get what you want. They're going to teach you how to get that mentoring. We're coming out with a program. Everyone knows I bought the WNBA podcast last year. So we're going to be giving out memberships to all the Pensacola athletes. And we're also going to have pro athletes going in there teaching and training you. I can give you the program, but if you don't listen and you don't want to learn, and there's nothing we can do. We're trying to reach the kids that genuinely want help. They're ready to listen. They're open and they want it that bad. And those are the ones we're going to help. And everyone else, we're going to say the opportunity was there. You might look back and realize you messed up. I hope no one does that. But I go, a lot of people in this city help me. So I'm going to do what I have to do to give back in a big way to my community and get them in front of pro athletes. I know that we don't get pros all the time outside of our athletes from Pensacola. How do we bring more, and how do we expose our kids to what it takes to get to, even if it's just college, D1, D2, D3, overseas, NIL, like teaching parents, like how do you deal with NIL? How do you talk to these schools about it? You don't want to go to a school and tell them how great your kid is in high school. Baby, everybody, it's 30 million, 300 million kids playing basketball in high school. It's 300,000 in college, which means you want to make sure that your kid isn't going in there asking how much playing time they're going to get, that they're asking how many people graduate, how many people get that degree here, how many people have you helped get to the pros, how many have played in it. It's understanding the right questions to ask to make sure that school is the right fit for you, because you don't want to just play sports. You want that degree, or you want the exposure to go overseas or to go pro. And if that school can't get you that, you need to know that up front, and you need to know the right questions to ask. NIL deals have changed. Understand what that means. AAU, should you be playing? Should you not be playing? Are you donating your money to the team and you're not getting any playing time, or are you actually getting better? It's those questions that parents and coaches need to know or want to know. And we're going to have all of that inside that membership. It will launch with the WNBA season next year, just because I want to tie it into that.
Whoa, that's a great program. What's the name of that?
Your Game Network is Your Game Network VIP.
Oh, what a beautiful idea. I don't know who came up with that, but that's got to be really rewarding. You know, that in the future, that's going to be the most rewarding program, probably.
It's fulfilling.
Wow. Fulfilling, rewarding, absolutely. Everything you are, Shell. Everything. I appreciate you so much, man. It's always so much fun to catch up with you, and I thank you for always taking the time to be on the show. And I got one last question: who would be a great guest to have on the show?
Oh man, there's so many. Jeez.
Maybe.
Are you looking for a local? Are you looking for a local athlete or someone else?
Just looking for good stories, somebody that people can relate to. Anybody. I'm sure
I would say, have you had Adron Chambers on your show? He has a beautiful story. He's one. Derek Brooks, another one.
I'm trying to get Derek back on. Yeah, he's a
great one. Because he's coming back on mine too when I launch.
He is.
I would say, that's the big brother. He got to take care of me. Roy Jones has another great story, and he's had so many things happen, and he's learned and grown so much. And then if we're talking outside of Pensacola, that's a long list. That's a long list.
Shell, it's great catching up with you, man. I love talking with you. Thank you for taking the time. And when you come back in Pensacola, maybe we'll get together for that coffee. And when are you going back to Oregon?
Probably Friday or Sunday. I haven't decided yet.
Friday or Sunday? State of Sunday.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the breather, but I also want to get back and relax a day before I got to jump back into things.
Go back Friday then.
But thank you for having me on. I do appreciate it.
Oh man, it's great talking to you, Shell. Good luck to you, and keep in touch. We'll be talking soon. Thank you, babe.
All right.
Peace.
Bye.
Wow, Michelle Snow, what a player, what a person, what an employee, what a great story she is. I want to thank her for coming on Coach's Corner. Everybody have a great sports weekend. Stay tuned for these important messages. This was brought to you by Sandy Sansing Chevrolet. That's right. Go over in Milton, here in Pensacola, over in Foley. You'll find all the great men and women of Sandy Sansing. Thanks for watching. Have a great sports weekend. So long.
When it comes to buying your next car, truck, or SUV, you need a team that puts you first. Here at the Sandy Sansing dealerships, we're proud to serve Pensacola and the Gulf Coast with the best selection, trusted service, and deals that work for your family. Just like great coaches build great teams, Sandy Sansing builds lasting relationships with every customer who walks through our doors. Because when it comes to finding your next vehicle, there's only one name to remember. Sandy Sansing can.
Arbitrium Consulting for all your fencing, landscaping, pressure washing, tree trimming needs. Call 850-483-0350 for your free estimates. Serving Pensacola, Gulf Breeze, Navarre, Fort Walton, Destin, Perdido, Gulf Shores, Foley, and the entire Gulf Coast. Arbitrium Consulting is owner-operated, fully licensed and insured. Call today, 850-483-0350, the official landscaper of Coach's Corner.
That's you trying to fix the plumbing yourself to save a few bucks. Doing things yourself doesn't always end well. The same goes for insurance. That's why Auto Owners works with local independent agents who tailor coverage to meet your needs and offer discounts for life, home, car, and business insurance. Because sometimes you need a professional to get the job done right. That's simple human sense.
When it comes to buggies and golf carts, nobody does it like Buggy Works. Hi, I'm JP Wibbs. We've got the largest selection of golf carts on the Gulf Coast. We have a brand new 10,000 square foot state-of-the-art service center and showroom to keep you rolling. We're right here in the heart of Car City at 5831 Pensacola Boulevard. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, Saturdays 9 to 3. Check us out at buggyworks.com. Buggy Works. Come by and see why we're the #1 Denago dealer in the nation.
There's a reason why Hill Kelly in Pensacola is the #1 selling Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram dealer between Jacksonville and New Orleans. While other dealers have taken advantage of a competitive market with higher prices, Hill Kelly has discounted prices to the lowest of the year. And Hill Kelly in Pensacola won't surprise you with excessive charges beyond the selling price. Come see why people from Milton, Pace, Foley, Bay Minette, Daphne, Gulf Shores, Mobile, and beyond are driving to Hill Kelly in Pensacola to buy their next new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram. At Hill Kelly, the bottom line price and your satisfaction are what really matter. So before you sign, check the bottom line and make the trip to Hill Kelly in Pensacola to see what true local ownership can do for you. At Hill Kelly Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Highway 29 in Car City, Pensacola. Or shop online 24/7 at hillkellydodge.com. When it comes to bottom line pricing, nobody beats a Hill Kelly deal. Nobody.
Are you riding around in a filthy vehicle? Dirty car no more. Visit Ronnie's Car Wash today to get it shining in no time. They have 3 convenient locations with another coming soon. The unlimited monthly wash packages start as low as $14.95 per month with free vacuums, multi-purpose spray, and towels. Visit them in Gulf Breeze, Navarre, Fort Walton, and soon Crestview. Don't wait, wash today. Be sure to see Ronnie's Car Wash on Facebook to see the latest specials and discounts. You'll be riding and shining in no time.
75 years of service and high tech today. It's Pensacola Glass Company at 433-8348. High tech is a term often applied to advanced services and products in today's marketplace. And today, glass is much more than a simple painted brittle, see-through stuff we hit baseballs through when we were kids. Glass is now a product with unique flexibility in both performance and application. And Pensacola Glass Company is growing right along. That's Pensacola Glass Company at 433-8348.
When it comes to buying your next car, truck, or SUV, you need a team that puts you first. Here at the Sandy Sansing dealerships, we're proud to serve Pensacola and the Gulf Coast with the best selection, trusted service, and deals that work for your family. Just like great coaches build great teams, Sandy Sansing builds lasting relationships with every customer who walks through our doors. Because when it comes to finding your next vehicle, there's only one name to remember. Sandy Sansing can.